Brazil did not lose because Norway dominated them. Brazil did not lose because they forgot how to play football either. Brazil lost because they forgot the most dangerous rule in modern football. Do not give Haaland one clean moment. Because Haaland is a completely different player. He does not need to appear everywhere throughout the match. He does not need to drop into midfield and build the game. He does not need to touch the ball in every position. Sometimes he stays silent for 70 minutes. Sometimes the defense thinks they have him under control. Sometimes even the stadium seems to forget about him. But this is where the scary part begins. Because Haaland does not need to control the game. He only needs the game to forget him for 1 second. And Brazil learned this in the most painful way. On paper, Brazil were the bigger story. 5 World Cups, the yellow shirt, history, stars, Vinicius, Neymar, huge expectations, one of the heaviest football legacies in the world. But in this match, Brazil were not only facing Norway, there was a silent but massive threat, Haaland. And the scariest thing about Haaland is this: even when you feel like you are winning the game, he can still win the match. Because his football looks very simple. But being simple does not make him less dangerous. On the contrary, it makes him more dangerous. Some stars beat you just by controlling the match. Some take the ball, beat 3 players, and change the shape of the game. Some want to be on the screen every minute. But Haaland is a completely different player. Sometimes he disappears. Then suddenly he appears in the penalty box. And at that moment, you are already too late. That was the story in the Brazil match too. Norway survived for a long time. Brazil could not finish the match. They could not close the door. And for Haaland, every match left open is a door he can walk through. Brazil wanted to close that door, but Haaland showed no mercy. Like a wild predator, he tore that door apart and opened it. And the first goal was a pure Haaland goal. It was not magic. It was not complicated. It was not a 15-pass work of art. But it was deadly. Timing, body, power, and punishment. A small space appeared in the penalty box. The ball came in. Haaland rose, and Brazil's entire plan collapsed in an instant. Because against Haaland, sometimes even defending well is not enough. Stand in the wrong place for just 1 second, and the whole match changes. But the truly scary part was the second goal. Because after the first goal, everyone already knew the danger. Brazil knew. The stadium knew. Norway knew. Everyone knew Haaland was there, but they still could not stop him. That is what separates great strikers from the rest. You score 1 goal, and the opponent watches you more carefully. But the greatest ones strike again even while the opponent is watching them. Haaland did that. And the most painful part for Brazil was this. In this match, they did not just look like they lost to one player. They lost to an idea. Norway's new idea. Because Norway are no longer just a nice story. Norway are no longer just a team happy to be at the World Cup. Norway have now turned into something far more dangerous. A team that can survive. And a team with Haaland in front of them. When those two things come together, a scary equation appears. Norway do not have to dominate every match. They do not have to have 65% possession. They do not have to suffocate their opponent for 90 minutes. They only need to stay in the match. Because if the match is still alive, Haaland is still alive. And if Haaland is still alive, the score is still not safe. That is why his World Cup run is so scary. It is not only about the goals he scores. It is about the powerful feeling those goals create. Every opponent now has to think the same thing. How long can we keep him quiet? And more importantly, is keeping him quiet really enough? Because you can keep Haaland quiet for 80 minutes, but in the 81st minute, he makes 1 run. In the 85th minute, he uses 1 shoulder. In the 90th minute, he takes 1 shot, and all your work goes to waste. Brazil lived through this. They played a tournament match, but Haaland suddenly turned that match into his own personal hunt. That is why Haaland cannot be described like a normal goal scorer. He is not just Norway's striker. He is Norway's reason to stay in the match. Norway's fear factor. Norway's word maybe. Because without Haaland, Norway can be a well-organized team, but with Haaland, they turn into something else. A threat that grows bigger in every match the opponent fails to finish. And now, for the rest of the tournament, everyone will face the same problem. Beating Norway is not just beating Norway. You have to kill the game before Haaland's turn comes. Because if you leave Norway in the match, Haaland can punish you. And he does not have to do it beautifully. He only has to do it at the right moment. Brazil had history. They had the shirt, they had pressure. But Norway had something Brazil could not control. Haaland was waiting for his turn. And that is the scary truth. Haaland does not make Norway dominate every match. But if he keeps Norway alive long enough, he can make one moment bigger than the whole game. That is why you can no longer look at Norway as just a surprise team. Because some teams beat you for 90 minutes. Haaland sometimes finishes you in just 1 second. And at the World Cup, there are very few things scarier than that. If you liked this content, Please subscribe. The next one will be even better.